Alright guys, day 39, part 2. So in this video, I want to talk about how to sustain productivity, just so that in a way that it'll prevent burnout, but also enable you to continue to pursue your goals. So here's my system for it, right? First and foremost, when I'm scheduling tasks, like which you should be doing, you should be time blocking whenever you can, and ideally the night before you start working. So when I schedule my tasks in my calendar, or in some note-taking app or whatever it may be, right, I schedule plenty of breaks during the day. In fact, I usually schedule up to like 33% to 50% of the time that I spent working on a task for a break. For example, if I work on a task for 90 minutes, right, I will take a break. At least I'll allow myself to take a break for between 30 and 45 minutes for that task. Like a 30 to 45 minute break. A whole I don't work continuously for 7 hours a day, right? But throughout the day, I work in these sprints, these intervals, and then I take breaks between them, between each one. I give myself the option to take these breaks. Now, I tell myself that these breaks are optional, and they genuinely are. If I don't need the break, I won't take it. But if I need the break, I will take it. And so that's how I've designed my schedule. That's the system I have for scheduling my tasks. I schedule my most challenging, most difficult tasks first thing in the morning, and then as the day progresses, my tasks become easier and easier to do. And since I follow this interval method, I can work for most of the day, like 90% of the waking day, I can work for. And so even though I'm not working for 4, 5, 6 hours at a stretch, on a day where I get all of my stuff done, and I work in all of my time blocks as planned, I can work I get between 8 and 10 hours of very, very productive work done. And when I'm scheduling tasks, I also make sure to not schedule more than 5 things to do in a given day, apart from miscellaneous work. That doesn't count for me. But let's say I have to write an essay, study for so-and-so tests / examinations, finish editing a video, batch produce some shorts, and lastly work on another venture, right? Those are going to be the only 5 things that I time block. And then later in the evening, I give myself some time to finish any miscellaneous work that I have that I don't really consider to be a task per se, because it doesn't require any cognitive effort to complete. This would be things like reading an email and replying to it, or filling out an application for something, or something like that, right? And scheduling the next day, of course. And so through this system, the final part of it is that I have a cutoff time for when I schedule work. So it's usually sometime in the evenings. But beyond that point, I will not schedule anything. And anything beyond that point, like between that time in the evening that I stop scheduling work for, and my bedtime, is basically what I consider to be my free time. And my incentive is that the sooner I finish my work, the longer I get to, the more time I have to do whatever I want later in the evening. Because at the end of the day, productivity is not about input, it's about output. It doesn't matter how long you work for, as long as you consistently move the needle forward day after day and get shit done. Yeah, it's not easy. You're still gonna need to work hard, but you also want to make sure you're working smart and efficiently. Resting well isn't dumb. All right, taking breaks isn't dumb. Some people might look at my schedule and be like, "You take a break for 30 to 45 minutes every time you sit down for an hour to an hour and a half of work? Like, that's ridiculous." But to me, it's not. That's what works for me. And I like having that flexibility of being able to take a break for a considerable amount of time if I really need to. If I don't, I'll go back to working. But otherwise, I take that break, and I usually take the full break, right? Because I work very intensely when I work. I work with no distractions whatsoever. My phone is usually in another room or somewhere underneath the couch, probably. It's usually on airplane mode as well. And I only have one tab open while I'm working, so I'm laser focused on whatever it is that I'm doing. And I work efficiently, I work hard, and I work well. And so, yeah, it does take a certain amount of discipline to be able to do this. It does take, like at the end of the day, you fall to the level of your systems, not your willpower, because your willpower is mostly unreliable unless you're in some kind of survival situation, right? But on a daily basis, your willpower is pretty unreliable. You want to focus on systems instead. And so this is my system. This is what I found works for me. I take breaks throughout the day. I limit myself to a certain number of tasks so that I prioritize well and get the right stuff done. And I also give myself the incentive of being able to do whatever I want in my free time after I'm done with all of my stuff for the day. If I don't finish my stuff on time, I will keep working until I get it done. But then I'll cut it off at a certain point, like maybe 30 minutes before going to bed, so that it doesn't screw up my sleep. But yeah, and during that free time that I have, I am free to do whatever I want to do. Now, most days I do usually choose to do something somewhat productive. Like I prefer. I'm an outdoorsy kind of person. I like going out, as in like not to parties and stuff. I like going to play sports, going on walks, stuff like that. That's what I usually do during that time. But occasionally I also watch TV. That's the only thing I'll allow myself to do. That's the limit, really. On the list of degenerate things that you can do to spike your dopamine artificially, TV is the only one that I'll allow for myself. Nothing like video games, no social media, none of that. And I don't really watch TV that much, anyways. I mean, it was just Thanksgiving break for us at college, so I watched some TV back at home. But before that time, like before the break that we just had, I didn't watch TV for what, like two and a half, maybe 3 months preceding that break that we had, and so yeah. So I don't really watch TV that often, but even then I do still allow it. And so figure out what works for you. This is my system. You can use it as an example. You can use it as a template. But yeah, I hope you got some value out of this one. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.